Bank of Canada announced ending its quantitative tightening program. The question is, what is next? First, let's explain what is quantitative easing and what is quantitative tightening. The money supply means the liquidity, the total liquidity in an economy, closely correlated to its central bank's balance sheet. So, for example, in Canada, when the Bank of Canada expands its balance sheet, for example, buying government bonds, it injects more liquidity into the economy, which is called quantitative easing. If it moves in opposite direction and shrinks its balance sheet, then it's called quantitative tightening. Now let's go back a few years. During COVID in 2020, the Canadian government issued massive bonds to fund its relief programs. Then the Bank of Canada, in addition to cutting the benchmark rates to help economy, it purchased most of these bonds through quantitative easing, which significantly expanded its balance sheet. However, after the economy recovered, the Bank of Canada implemented quantitative tightening over the past 2 years to reduce the liquidity to fight inflation. Now they would stop this quantitative tightening program, but as you can see in the graph, the bank's balance sheet is still well above pre-pandemic levels. Now the question is, what happens if tariffs hit Canadian export to the US? If tariffs hit, the economy will slow down significantly, making a few rate cuts very likely. However, the question is that will Bank of Canada start another quantitative easing program? The answer is unlikely. Why? Because quantitative easing is used when typically the rate is already very close to zero. So there is no room for further cuts. But here, even after a few possible rate cuts, the benchmark would be over zero. Also, there's another factor. As we said, the bank's balance sheet remains slightly larger than historical levels. So, while rate cuts are very likely if tariffs hit, another round of quantitative easing is far from certain unless the economic shock is too severe to justify. Thank you for listening.